Hey everyone, my name is Akshita. I'm a designer from Bangalore, and I'm excited to introduce my mentorship project, Life of a Ficus, the Banyan Speaks, to everyone. A little about myself. I've been in the fashion field since the past 10 years. I did about last year because of the impact that it had on our environment. Switch my design aesthetics to something that would maybe hopefully cause or something good or create like a good effect overall. So since then, and I got lucky to be introduced to Creature Conserve and the mentorship project sometime last year when I quit the design field, and it's been such a good journey. So, Life of Ficus is learnings from a banyan tree. It's a multi-tiered project where we can learn from ecology, community, and interaction, and how different features of nature have so much to teach us about. Uh, I would like to start with all of us going on like a short imaginative break. I would like everyone to imagine our planet a long, long time ago. So the continents look very different than from what we know today. The climate is warmer and ecosystems are evolving rapidly. And during this time, giant dinosaurs are still roaming our planet. So back from that short imaginative break, to 80 million years ago, ancestors of modern ficus had started their evolutionary journey. And today we have over 850 species of uh, fig trees over various countries. To further dive into my project, I think the whole journey with Creature Conserve and this mentorship has been so profound and so transformative. I thought it would be only right to explain it in terms of phases in which a banyan tree grows. So the project timeline takes a seed phase and the taking root, growth, and finally oneness. So we'll begin with the seed phase. The seed phase of my project began with rather sad news, actually. A house that I loved very much in my area was going to be demolished. It was going to be demolished to construct commercial apartments. And this place had like two beautiful gardens with at least a lot of Ashoka trees in it and a lot of different plant species. I have been personally spotting so many birds and insects over here, and it's different every time I would go visit the garden. So I mean, and the laws in India are such that uh, trees usually just get cut off. They don't get rerouted or into other places in demolition sites. So I want to connect people with nature where we find ourselves responsible for all of these trees' life and their future. To help build that connection, I formulated a event called Wild Sundays. Wild Sundays was a community event where people were invited to come in as community and use art and science as a way to connect with nature. We began the nature walk with uh, maybe 26 participants. The nature walk began at the house and it ended at the house as well. During the nature walk, we were lucky to observe a lot of interesting species actually. This is a butterfly spider towards the left. And as the walk was mainly centered around fig tree species, the photo on the top is a Ficus religiosa, also called a peepal tree that was next to a temple that we have in India. The picture to your right is a banyan, Ficus bengalensis. So we walked around the area, and the nature walk went on for maybe 1 to 1.5 hours. That was quite surprising to me because I thought that people would maybe get bored, and most of the people who attended the event were from non-science backgrounds. And also, I was specific while inviting people because I wanted people to come in who had like the slight disconnect uh, with nature so that we could like help establish that connection again. So it was interesting to see how so many of the participants were really interested, asked questions, and really interacted with our nature guide Kavya. So, and we walked around the area. We spotted like mulberry trees uh, during the walk. A lot of people who attended are residents of this area, so they were surprised as to, they didn't know like mulberry trees are in their lanes basically. So that was a very interesting find. Followed by the nature walk, we got into a block printing session. The block printing session, we used organic dyes and paints, and we printed on tote bags. The motifs we got carved for the block printing workshop were mainly nature motifs, so that people can unleash their creativity and sort of again try to build that connection. Here are a couple of videos of the block printing in action when during the event, and another video of people observing the Ficus religiosa during the walk. After the event ended, uh, I, I think the following week or two, I got a couple of messages and calls from friends and other participants who attended the event. A lot of the people actually told me that they now observe lichen. They try to use apps on their phone to, see what bird they're spotting outside their house or in their garden. So, I mean, I feel that was a very happy moment for me because it's like that small spark that, yeah, maybe something right happened through the event and people learned something good from the event. So we covered a couple of tree species, faunas, and printed on maybe 30 tote bags. The collaboration process for the event was quite interesting. I reached out to a couple of scientists and nature guides and also artists. I received a lot of replies from some companies, from many I actually didn't end up receiving replies, but it was quite a fun process because you never know who's going to respond and who's going to be interested in your project. So finally, the collaboration came through with three companies, a green venture for the nature walk, Unati Creatives for the block printing, and Nature Library, who had made informative boards that you see here, put around the event venue for us. So people who would walk around the garden would read through these boards and, learn some nice, interesting facts about the species that live around us. So that was the end of the event. And as I said, like I think like also the block printing from the event, a lot of people of all age groups ended up coming together, interacting with each other, talking with each other. So I think that was a great way to bring people together to, educate about nature and things that need attention or perhaps demand attention. So to the further phase of my project taking root, I began to concentrate mainly on the banyan tree. I think the banyan tree was just calling to me, maybe because everywhere I went, I was just spotting banyan trees everywhere. Of course, there are like so many other tree species, but for some reason, the banyan really, really stood out. So I began researching more about the banyan tree and learning a little more about it, and thought that perhaps I use this as my core of the project to spread awareness on the whole. So I began, so the idea was to make a 3D banyan tree uh, using sustainable art, of course, and materials. These are a few pictures that we created during the initial phase of the sampling. We did some block motifs and small 3D sample. uh, the idea was also to have a postcard with the 3D banyan. So this is a trial that in the initial phases of the postcard. And the installation developed through experimentation, sketches, material testing, and each attempt helped refine how the banyan structure could be physically built. This is a little research I did on the banyan and things I learned about the banyan from articles and online blogs. Scientifically, the banyan tree is known as Ficus bengalensis. The banyan tree, considered a keystone species, supports an ecosystem providing food, shelter, nesting space for a vast area of biodiversity, including many threatened and endangered creatures. Banyans fruit throughout the year, feeding birds, monkeys, insects, bats, and many more. Because of this, ecologists sometimes describe fig trees as supermarkets of the forest. But the banyan is remarkable for another reason as well, maybe the most obvious one. Unlike most trees that grow only upward, the banyan also grows downwards. Its aerial roots descend from branches towards the ground. Once they touch the soil, they thicken and become new trunks. Over time, a single tree can spread across a vast area, creating what appears to be a forest of many trees. The biggest known so far is named Thimmamma Marimannu, located in Andhra Pradesh, India, and has over 4,000 aerial roots to it. Culturally, the banyan has also held deep significance in India. Its Sanskrit names reveal this so beautifully. Nyagroda means the down-growing one. Bahupada means the one with many feet. The word banyan originates from banya, referring to Indian traders who traditionally gathered and conducted business under the shade of these large trees. Ancient texts also describe a cosmic world tree, a tree whose roots lie in the heavens while its branches extend towards the earth, bringing blessings to all. These ideas speak to the same theme that fascinated me about the banyan: interconnection. Banyan trees today face significant threats, primarily from rapid urbanization, deforestation, habitat fragmentation, all of which are damaging its expansive root systems. Key threats include cutting of aerial roots, concrete paving that blocks root respiration, and infestation. The great hornbill and the Malabar pied hornbill depend heavily on fig fruits during lean seasons when other fruits are unavailable. The lion-tailed macaque relies on figs as a key part of its diet, particularly during lean seasons. Together, these species highlight how the survival of banyan tree supports a wide network of biodiversity, including species that are already under threat. I mean, as I learned, the banyan helps support to birds, to mammals. Its influence is like vast. And the video that I just played was taken maybe a week ago. I took this video in a place close to home. Luckily, this banyan had maybe at least seven aerial roots that had turned into trunks. So this was an expanding banyan. But once I stepped outside this premises, I noticed the aerial roots hanging, and below the aerial roots was obviously concrete paving. So the roots were not available, allowed to penetrate soil further and expand as it's designed to. What I also noticed is most of the banyans I observe in city areas, I think majority of them are just solitary banyans because we haven't given them enough space to expand and grow. They're not growing or living the way they're basically designed to, which is quite a sad thing. Uh, so because of this, I thought the banyan's such an interesting tree. It has this amazing relationship with a fig wasp. And these are things worth, sharing and knowing, which is why I wanted to convert this whole experience into sort of a 3D figure. Uh, so so the idea is to basically have an interactive art installation centered around a 3D banyan tree. The installation I've planned is supposed to include an audio station where people can learn more about the banyan and its ecology. I'm also in process of designing a postcard kit, which can be purchased maybe by the visitors. It would include artwork of the banyan with some scientific details printed at the back with a QR code as well. That would, if someone wants to dive into some more information about the banyan. The main part about the postcard kit would be an empty leaf motif inside the postcard kit. So people can take the leaf motif, block print on it, and attach it to the banyan. So this way, the banyan becomes an interactive art piece, and people can learn and also contribute to the art. And maybe the banyan expands its root systems and just sort of grows over time. The next phase of my project is growth. The growth is the phase where we began building the banyan tree and started selecting materials to build it. Uh, this is the initial phase of the banyan when we were building it. I have just a few small video clips to show you guys. Block printing is a traditional textile technique from India, practiced for centuries by skilled artisans. This method allows visitors to actively participate in the artwork by printing leaves themselves and attaching them to the tree's canopy. Here, Usha and I collectively printed all the leaves that are going to be used to create the banyan tree. We also used organic paints and printed on viscose organza fabric, making the work truly sustainable and beautiful. So this is a short video about the block printing process we did. I have another one to show you guys while we were building it. An important aspect of the project was the materials used to build the tree. Around 70 to 80% of the installation is made from upcycled materials. We sourced aluminium wires from a scrap shop and used discarded fabrics to construct much of the structure. The remaining 20% includes viscose threads, fabric, and eco-friendly dye tables. The entire structure was built using hemp twine, rope, and sustainable materials. Everything was made by Moti, Sangeeta, Usha, our artisan lock maker, and myself. It took around 100 hours totally for us to build all the elements of the bamboo. Using repurposed materials felt appropriate for a project inspired by ecological systems because nature itself is constantly reusing, recycling, and transforming matter. Moving on to the next phase, one is I would like to show you all. This is the partially completed version of the banyan tree. While you see the banyan tree, I would like to speak a little about my journey with the banyan. Uh, what I see is, a lot of times, of course, we take humans as our mentors, inspirations, and teachers, but perhaps we can also start learning from other beings, from trees, from elephants, from sea turtles, from butterflies. What if we start looking at them as our teachers and mentors, because the knowledge they carry with themselves is something we're still starting to decode and not, and truly understand. And once you see the banyan, you try to learn squirrel that's nested on the 3D banyan tree, because they're quite tiny in size. You wouldn't have been able to spot it on the larger tree. But then we have one sort of eating the fig fruit and one climbing up its trunk here. We also embroidered a jungle mynard flying and a fruit bat towards the right. To be very honest, a lot of the elements of the banyan are sort of incomplete. We have a lot of more creatures to add, and hopefully, once the banyan expands, we get to add a lot of more creatures, because the list is never ending. If we start to, I'm sorry, if we start to speak about the amount of species the amount of species that depend on the banyan. These are a few more pictures of us while we were building the banyan, and a little about my project agenda and timeline. So the 3D banyan is almost complete. We have a few more elements left to add and a few more species left to add. We're still working on the audio notes, the audio station that's supposed to be attached with the fig tree. We're going to be having three. And the plan is to translate them into regional languages, so the reach is better went much further. And the postcard is also in the works with the empty banyan tree motifs. I'm currently also looking for funding opportunities so the banyan gets to travel around sort of a large area and speak to a lot of people about it. And for collaborations, I'm speaking to a few NGOs uh, that are into wildlife conservation and lake revivals and also man-animal conflicts. So the plan is to speak to them and see how the collaborations go with them. And also, of course, to end up making an Instagram page for to reach everyone. Coming towards the end of my project, I realized like while making it meaningful projects go through many small contributions. Together, these efforts create something larger than any one individual. So the banyan is not made by just one person or one emotion. I realized it's so many people and situations coming together to create something which the banyan speaks about, right? The banyan speaks about oneness always because it's a huge tree. If you go to a banyan, the banyan's never going to ask you your name, your age, your religion, or anything. It's just going to provide shade for you and it's going to welcome all of us as one, in fact. So what I realized during this project is maybe we all should start uh, sort of living through this belief of oneness, and I'm sure the world would get for far more better than it is today once we all start doing that. And so the next time you see a banyan tree, stay a moment because this is how many things become one.